So welcome to the SuperSCADA training video. This is the fourth little one for blending and batching basics. So first of all, I'm just going to show you the list of commonly used abbreviations and icons, and I won't go through them now, but you can come back to this at any stage just if there's something you don't recognize or there's something you want to do. So our little plant here basically consists of a number of raw material bins into a weigher, up an elevator to a main mixer, a couple of metered liquids, and then down to one destination. So what I'm going to show you is some of the parameters now that you might see. So first of all, you can click on a bin. So if you click on a bin, there are two things: filling enabled or disabled. So at the moment it's enabled, and the current location. So if you've got an intake system and you want to be able to fill the bin, then obviously it's fill enabled. You can slide that down to say it's filling barred. So that means the intake can't fill that bin. So I'll just leave it off. Oops. The current location now, if you've got two bins with the same raw material in, for instance barley, then the current location will be the one that it'll pull from first and not the second or third one. And discharge enabled, obviously discharge enabled here. If I click on this here, discharge barred, and save it, then it comes up with a little bar there to stop any batching going to pull from that bin. Now I'll actually go back and put that where I found it. So I've just taken off that bar. Now the other parameters that you'll find is over here. You've seen this Odoo screen here. If I go onto this one with the 9 little bits in here, and I go to SuperSCADA, and then I go to manufacturing, so there are lots of parameters here. So if I go to feeder parameters and I pick on, if I search for, well, I can go to any of these here. So if I go to, say, randomly a bin PB20 and click on that, so this shows you first of all the maximum inclusion, so that's in kilos, 200 kilos, the tolerance, jog limit. This is the number of jogs you can have. So if you want to have 5 jogs, just put 5 in there, and the jog time in milliseconds. So if it's going to be, say, half a second, you would put 500 there. Find dose speed. Now if you've got 2-speed feeders, then this is the speed running slowly, and this would be the speed running fast. Minimum inclusion, so that if you can't just feed just tiny amounts from this weigher. Now normally you'd have something like maybe 2 kilos as a minimum inclusion. So we've had the maximum inclusion over here, so the lower tolerance here, this if it underweighs, so if it's underweight less than 3 kilograms below the set weight, then it will jog 5 times to this time, which is half a second. The in-flight amount is set for 3 kilos, so when it feeds up 3 kilograms from its set weight, it will stop the feeder and then let the remaining amount of material into the scale. This jog time here is seconds. It's just the same as this one here, which is in milliseconds. And the coarse dosing speed, if you've got a 2-speed feeder, this is the speed of the feeder when it's in fast mode, as opposed to slow speed. And the fine dose weight, so that's when it swaps from fast to slow. So for example, if you have a value of 10 there, what happens is if you're within 10 kilograms of the set weight, then it will swap from coarse fast speed down to the slow speed. So when you've just changed any of these, you can press this little button here, which is like a little cloud with an up arrow in it, to change that. So if I go back to other parameters then, feed device now what we call feed device are things that feed material in. So here's the weigher, molasses and the soya. So if I go into the weigher here, there are a whole pile of parameters here that you can operate. So stabilization time in seconds. So after it feeds, cuts off, then it waits for 1 second before it does anything else. And also the weight has got to be stopped going up by more than 1 kilo here. Slow feed time, so this is 10,000, so it's in milliseconds, so it's 10 seconds. So if the no feed, so if the weight hasn't gone up by a certain amount in 10 seconds, then it comes up with an alarm. And the same thing for discharge, so if it discharges and it hasn't gone down to the tare weight in this case 10 seconds, then it alarms. And this is the weight that it has to go down by, so it has to go down by 1 kilo every 10 seconds. The span and the 0 are the calibration of the weigher. We won't go into that now. So the capacity of this weigher is 250 kilos. The tare limit, so it must be below 30 kilos when it thinks it's empty before it starts the next batch. Stabilization time is 1000, so it's 1 second, so it's exactly the same as this, but it's in milliseconds here. Slow feed time, exactly the same as this, is in milliseconds, but this is in seconds. And a slow feed weight, so that means it's got to, if it doesn't go up by 1 kilo in 10 seconds, then it comes up with an alarm. So those are the parameters for that. Now the other parameters that you've got are the mixer parameters. So we've only got one mixer, so you select the mixer. So this is the dry mix time in milliseconds, so it's 11 seconds, or over here it is in seconds, 11 seconds. Total mix time, so that means once the dry mix has been done and all the liquids are in, then it's got to be a minimum of, in this case, 17 seconds. And the additional mix time will be if once the liquids are complete, then it has to do a minimum of an extra 5 seconds. So that just gives you a list of all the parameters. So please do contact us if you need any more information on parameters. Thank you.